Hey guys, this is Greg with Medical Muscle, and I'm sitting in my apartment balcony, and I thought, oh, you know what? I want to talk about housing because it is important in medical school and how you guys can find it and how you can save money in any situation, okay? So I'm looking at beautiful New York, right? Okay, so let's talk about Grenada. Okay, so on the island, I went online and I found a real estate company, okay, their real estate website. And there were tabs that you could select for SGU, certified or something like that, which meant there was Wi-Fi in the building, there was air conditioning, there was a washer, I think a dryer on site or something like that, and there was bars on the window. I'll talk about that more as we go. So I ended up moving to this place. It was $600 a month. It was on the bus route. It was a one bedroom apartment. And what was really cool is the people who owned the property were professors at the college. Well, one was a professor, and the other did tech in Grenada, but he was a tech guy who worked in the US, but had a house, but lived there. Really cool couple. They were Grenadian, and they were so nice. Occasionally I'd have a papaya sitting out in my front door from their personal garden. They were the sweetest people, and I liked my neighbors. So I was the only, in my neighborhood in Grenada, I was the only, I could say American. I was the only American on my street. There were Muslim families next door to me I think they were from Syria, and obviously Grenadian families all over, and all my neighbors were super nice, super friendly. You do have to say good morning and all that stuff, because people, I think some of them take offense if you're just if you're shy. So be outgoing. You be, hi, how you doing? People might want to talk for a little bit, see how you're doing. Yeah, people are very nice. I loved it. And there was a little tiny store. It was like the bottom story of someone's house that was right next door from my apartment. And the guy had, he had a cooler with the fish that he had caught. He was a fisherman. And eggs from his farm that he had, his chickens, and he had some produce there too. It was great, and it was cheap. It was awesome. I loved living there. I mean, just having that proximity to the little store, having all this natural food that was just locally harvested. It was great, and people were nice. I lived a short walk. I just had to walk down this little street to the bus route. Okay, so the bus would come pick me up. Just to give you guys an example of where I lived, if you know the bowling alley, lived really close to the bowling, kind of on the way to the airport, kind of out that way. I would quite often walk to campus. It was like a 15-minute walk, something like that, maybe like a mile. It was fine. It was great. It had a little trail that went right behind the airport strip and dropped right down into that main street. So for me, it worked. Okay, the 600 was worth it. I know some people out there that had places that were like 1,200 or paying even more. Okay, I think just suck it up, live a little farther. You can get a very nice place for much lower prices. I don't think you have to be straight up next to the campus. That's my opinion. Okay. Now, clinical housing. Okay, clinical housing. That is a little trickier. It depends on where you're going to live, right? For me, I was in New Jersey. Okay, I'm still in New Jersey. I had to pick a place actually in both these circumstances, even Grenada, I never got to see the place before accepting it. Okay, I just went off of a video tour. Okay, I had a studio in New Jersey for $14.75. That was the cheapest that I could find for a studio. It worked. It was okay. It was great. I have to say that my Grenadian apartment was probably a little nicer because I had the wall-mounted air conditioner, but the window-mounted in New Jersey is fine. Okay. I did that for clinical years, the first year of clinicals with all the basic rotations. So for electives, electives get a little trickier. Okay, so your electives are going to be potentially in different areas, different towns, different states. So you have to put that all into consideration. I decided to do all my clinical rotations close to where I currently live. So I picked this location because it's central to all the hospitals that I have to go to. Okay, if I have to go into the city or I have to go into New Jersey somewhere else, that's what I picked. I think in general, there are cheap places, except, there's certain places over there that are not as cheap. I understand that. But I think if you can find a place that's central to a bunch of hospitals that that you probably want to do rotations at, then, that's a good way to pick where you're going to live. Safety wise, I've just happened to pick the safest areas. I think it's really good for you to go online and just see if is the area safe. It's really cheap. Is it safe? But get a roommate if you need to. So for Grenada and the first year of clinicals, I didn't have a roommate. I didn't want that. For clinicals, I'm far less stressed. I have a roommate here at this place just to save money, right? I think if you get a roommate, you can be saving money and get a much nicer place. Okay. Obviously there's downsides of that. It can be hard living with someone, but if you guys are really clear on your standards, then, you can make it work. Okay. I guess that's all I have to say for that. Yes, housing is very expensive in Grenada and in the United States for most of the places that you're gonna be living. And you have to find all the housing yourself. You got to furnish it yourself. You could do Airbnbs if you're only going to be at a hospital for 1 month in another place, but that can be very expensive too. So I think there are ways to do it cheaper. And yeah, I hope this helps, guys. All right. Wish you the best of luck.